Hi everyone, welcome to Grumpy Old Men. This is Steve Ross with an E.
And this is Tim Newton without an E.
We've got our shirts. Where are we? Here we are. And thank you very much to Leonardo, who, because they were a little bit tight last time, or because you'd put on weight, we've got our new shirts. Thank you very much, Leonardo, they're on the thumbnail.
Now, thank you for spelling my name correctly, Leonardo. You'd be surprised how many people don't. And Grumpy is all lowercase except the initial consonant. So I like these shirts. Literary wise, I like these shirts.
Literally.
Yeah, literally, I like these shirts.
Thank you very much, Leonardo. Thank you for going to the trouble. Now, a few things to talk about. I was going to start by talking about fire ants. We are blessed here on our little Turtle Beach. We don't seem to get a lot in the way of mosquitoes. I haven't seen a snake yet. Sure, I will. But we don't seem to have any sort of marauding packs of soy dogs, even though I have been bitten once, but only once.
Haven't been on the bicycle since then, have you?
No, that's actually true. I have been on the bicycle. I can go past that same pack of dogs on a motorbike. They couldn't care less. But the bicycle, but fire ants, nasty little fuckers.
Yeah, because it's sand here, we have a lot of ants of all stripes. It was the same experience living in the Chihuahua Desert. Because it's so easy for them to dig their tunnels in sand, they thrive here. So there are a lot of ants. And in my house, very tiny, very fast. They're not, I don't know if I'd call them fire ants, but they do bite. They sting when they bite. And their jaws can only be,
exactly
that big. But
that's what gets me.
Like hell.
They must be all jaws because they're tiny.
Yeah.
But the ones I've got they're definitely fire ants. They're sort of orange in colour. And when one finds you, the others seem to find you as well. And they travel in packs.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Hey, I found one over here, guys." And they're nasty. And I've got bites all over me, especially my feet. Because when you're out gardening, you sort of tread on a nest and they just go you. So I don't know... you just got to be careful. I don't suppose there's much more I can do.
I drove into the national park. This is probably a year ago, and they know I collect garbage. Did you see, by the way, the art displays out here this morning?
No.
They were shooting a video. Apparently, there is an organization in Thailand called what's it called? A Trash Mission Thailand, and it's a bunch of idealistic young people who collect trash and make art out of it.
You're joking?
No, and they were out there making a video, an educational video. They had a bunch of school kids. They were wearing their T-shirts, and they were making a video with art made from trash.
Did you go, "Hey kids, come into my house"? Oh, they might have thought that was weird.
I went over and I looked at it. They had a display at the Turtle Festival, and it was the same display. So I'd seen the art already, but now I don't remember why I brought that up. What that had to do? A year ago, I was riding my bicycle into the national park, and the park ranger said, "Hey, we found a big piece of rope on the beach. Do you want it?" And I don't do anything with rope, but there's a Dutch guy here named Andre who collects and sells rope off the beach. I said, "Well, I'll see if Andre wants it." So I went over to where they said it's over there on the front lawn of this house, and I'm standing inspecting this piece of rope, and within 10 seconds, I was ants to my knees. And they started biting me, and I'm jumping around and brushing, and you try to brush and slap and smack. And for a couple days, I was all red splotches, like I had measles or something. They just
for me,
fast.
They get very, very itchy, and they're itchy for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
they're not so much painful. They're itchy.
There's some venom. There has to be. That's a histamine reaction. There has to be some venom that's going on chemically there.
And I have a very delicate constitution.
You're sensitive. We know.
You're very sensitive. So, the Ants won, Tim nil. They're winning so far. But other than...
Who's keeping score?
Yeah. But other than the fire ants...
Yeah, other than
we are fairly lucky. Okay, we get some jelly... Well, I mean, the whole of the Andaman Sea gets a few jellyfish. But we don't get the box jellyfish. We get some stingers, but not a lot. I have to say that now I've been here for about 7 or 8 months. Still a newbie. I've got to be here for 70 years before I'm considered local.
Second generation is local.
The beach, the topology has just changed almost daily at the moment.
Yeah.
A few days ago it was out like that, and then today it's like a normal beach, and the waves are even breaking like the sort of breaking in sequence like they're meant to. So I don't know. It's sort of quite
Aussie style.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the water takes away sand, brings sand in, and puts it in different arrangements. Takes it away, brings it in, puts it in different arrangements. I walk the beach almost every morning, and I go to different spots on the beach. And I'll walk a piece of beach one morning, and there'll be an enormous log, a big piece of driftwood, as big as a school bus. And the next morning, it's gone. And, where's it now? It's down the beach 10 kilometers. It's up the beach 10 kilometers. It's out at sea, being a hazard to shipping.
Yes.
But, the sea is hugely powerful. And we don't really think of that much because most of the time, here at least, it's glass smooth. So, yeah.
Unless you're right on the shore, because these waves generally, they tend to crash like on the shore. And the last couple of days, we've got the southwesterly wind now, the monsoon.
Yeah.
And we are sort of getting slightly bigger waves. So the swell will start to roll in. Those waves come in pretty quickly as well. I don't know, they're probably doing 25, 35 kilometres an hour.
Fa-doom.
Fa-doom. But we are now when you hear the creaking in the roof, it's not, the roof isn't about to fly off. It's the expansion.
Yeah, as it heats up, the metal goes tick, 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 tick. At my house, the back porch, it goes tick, 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 tick.
How does it go?
Tick, 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 tick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the metal expanding and contracting.
Did you want to talk about your tooth?
Well, I know if anybody's interested, I've permanently this time lost my fake tooth, and we're just going to live with it. I'm not going to go, I forget, it was like 2,500 baht, wasn't it? 2,500 baht. But I'm not going to, I only ever wore it for this. And I didn't need it for anything else. And I knew I was going to lose it the day I bought it. And, here you've seen me, you know my shame.
I thought
so you would have
done pretty well. What, you had it 6 months?
November, since November, they pulled the tooth in November. So yeah.
What, you could get a permanent replacement?
Yeah, why? What's the point? I'm 66 years old. Who am I going to be vain for? Who do I care about? I'm not going to, if I thought I would ever have to go to another job interview, yeah, I'd have it replaced. But happily, thank God, knock on wood, I am never, ever going to have to go through the humiliation of a job interview ever again. So, no tooth.
And with that,
yeah.
What else can we talk about the last couple of weeks here?
Can I do something, since we're on the subject of insects? May I?
I thought you were going to say incest there.
No. Insects, just because you brought it up. Normally, I would wait until you had exhausted your imagination before I brought out Narelle's notebook. But somebody made a comment. I was going to point out that I love this place, as do you, as probably do you. But the insects are kind of a drag. The ants, mosquitoes, when they're around. Right now, I've got millions of tiny little fruit flies. Yeah, tiny little gnats in the house. And they are attracted, to carbon dioxide, because rotting vegetation puts out carbon dioxide. So they'll swarm your face because you are exhaling carbon dioxide.
Don't breathe. That's the
word. Yeah, don't exhale. You can inhale, but don't exhale. This time of the year, it's only a month, 6 weeks that there's these gnats. But at any rate, they swarm your face because that's where the carbon dioxide is. Anyway, insects. If there's a bugaboo here, if there's one thing about Turtle Beach and Thailand by extension that I don't enjoy, it is the insected life.
Well, hang on, before you go on, where you came from, you didn't have insects?
No, we did. That's an interesting point. I came from the Chihuahua Desert, Las Cruces, New Mexico. The last 8 years of my working life were spent in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and El Paso, Texas. And we had scorpions. I heard you talking today about, finding this time of year the toads come out of the sewers and they'll sleep in your shoes. If you leave your shoes outside and you wear anything more substantial than flip-flops, you might come out in the morning and find a toad in your shoe. So you always shake them out. Well, where I came from, we didn't leave the shoes outside, but if you did, like I had gardening boots in the garage, I would never stick a foot in those boots without shaking them out.
Like scorpions.
There are scorpions and snakes in the desert. Now, I've seen a snake here, only tiny little thing about this big, and I saw it on the beach, and it was in the sand, and it went under a pile of casuarina needles, and that's why I no longer kick the piles of casuarina needles to see what's underneath. When I go out collecting trash on the beach, I don't kick barefooted those piles anymore. But that's the only snake I've seen here. Lots of snakes in the Chihuahua Desert, lots of scorpions, lots of spiders, which I know are not insects. But yeah, we had tiny, dangerous life there too.
So the scorpions in the Chihuahua Desert, are they lethal? Or will they give you a nasty
I
sting?
think probably like here, there would be 4 or 5 different species, and one would be lethal, one would be harmless, and the ones in between would be on the spectrum, somewhere along the spectrum.
I think the ones in Thailand are generally not dangerous. I'm saying that I think, but I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not either. I was told a long, long time ago, there was a guy, Paul Watkins on Phuket, who was the animal wrangler who got all of the snakes for the first Indiana Jones movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, no.
And he retired to Phuket on that money. He gathered all those snakes and wrangled on the set all those snakes for Harrison Ford, and took that money and went to Phuket and bought a fishing boat called the Wahoo and retired to Phuket.
Is he still there?
Oh, I don't think so. Oh, we lost touch in '97. I don't know where, if he's still there. But he told me that the big black scorpions that you see in Thailand, I think everywhere and fairly regular. Yeah, the big black ones will sting you like a bee, but they won't kill you. There's a little tiny red one that I've never seen, and he says the little tiny red ones will kill you, avoid them. And he was a big advocate of shaking out your bedding before you went to bed.
Okay.
Because there are also centipedes, not...
Oh, they're nasty.
Yeah, it's not the millipedes, it's the centipedes that are dangerous. Or is it the other way around? Anyway, they will hide in bedding.
The ones that are about this big?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, and they've got
yeah,
2 big calipers at the front. They're nasty.
And I, one night in 1988, I think, was in bed with a partner. Yeah, in bed with a partner, and I slipped my hand under her pillow, and there was one of those under the pillow, and it bit me, and I pulled out my hand, and it's hanging off my finger like this. Yeah, under her pillow. It was under her pillow.
Right.
And we were about to go to sleep, not knowing this thing was there. Anyway, what I want to get to, insects. Someone wrote in, we had asked for advice for newbies last week. Or we had asked the week before, and people were commenting. At any rate, someone wrote in and said his advice to newbies coming to Thailand: do not kill flies or mosquitoes in the presence of Thai people. Is that something you're aware? Do you abstain from taking life in the presence of Thai people?
Well, generally, I find the Thais are quite good at killing things that piss them off.
Yeah.
Everything from soy dogs down to
other Thais.
And insects. So the Buddhism thing, I think we sort of all think that Buddhists are gentle and careful and caring. But I also think that the belief that there is an afterlife gives them less interest in remaining alive.
Well, or I'm hastening this little creature on its path to nirvana.
Yeah.
If I kill this ant or cockroach, it'll come back immediately in its next incarnation, and it'll be slightly better than a cockroach. So there might be that thought.
I haven't seen any reaction, anything that gives me the impression that they don't like you killing things.
Yeah, I don't either. I know monks. So take no life as one of the 5 precepts.
Yeah,
every Buddhist.
Don't kill a monk.
what I'm saying is there's 5 precepts for lay Buddhists, and there are 225 for monks. And both, one of the precepts is take no life. And a monk will put a screen over his cup of Ovaltine in the evening to keep bugs from falling in that and dying inadvertently in his cup of Ovaltine. A monk will not. A monk will to get rid of a mosquito, right? If he's being terribly observant in that moment. But Chum Nan with the can of ant spray, boy, he loves nothing better than going around my house killing millions of ants at a stroke with that spray. I have never seen a Thai react to me killing an insect. No. I have never seen a Thai reluctant to kill an insect.
Yeah.
And there was an old legend that there's so many soy dogs because Thais are Buddhists, so you can't hire a Thai to be a dog catcher. Don't you know, these people used to say, all the butchers in Bangkok are Chinese Taoists. There are no Thais will work as a butcher. Bullshit. No, they work as butchers. Fishermen pull fish out of the water here all the time. No, Buddhists will take life. They're in the army. They shoot the enemy. They went to Vietnam and shot the place up. What Thai fishermen used to do to Vietnamese boat people was absolutely horrific. So no, I don't think, whoever this correspondent was, I don't think that is good advice. You're going to get a newbie to walk around suffering from ant bites because he's afraid to brush off an ant in front of a Thai person.
Yeah, so, if you've seen anything different, I mean, please tell us. It's not something that I've noticed that they've got any particular adherence to keeping things alive they don't want to keep alive.
Yeah, I think. Oh, and where I was going, I think it's not a lack of dog catchers that's why there's so many soy dogs. I think it's because you can get the benefits, as I've said before. You can have the benefit of owning a dog without actually taking responsibility for a dog. All you have to do is feed him at your back door once a day, and that dog will protect your house all night long. And you will have a guard dog without actually having to pay for shots or neutering or a collar or chipping or any of that.
Well, it is a point that it is more difficult to get your animals neutered here in Thailand. Some vets don't like to neuter because for whatever reason they don't want to.
Yeah, I doubt that's Buddhism. I think that's probably male fishness having to do with cutting off nuts. But I've never encountered that. I don't
ladies know. Also have to be neutered.
Okay. Well, yeah, female dogs. Yeah, bitches. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we've exhausted insects. Let us know in the comments. Do you like the insects? Do you like eating the insects? We haven't even brushed on that.
No.
Yeah, don't kill an insect in front of a Thai person, but by all means, try the maggots. Try the fried maggots in the market.
For example,
who's killing all those insects in the marketplace, dude?
Wherever Daisy is, she was sitting here a moment ago, but Daisy, she's going to be 5 months old or something in the next couple of weeks. And so we have to take her to a vet in Gloy because the one here in Pan Muang won't neuter. Yeah. So that's okay.
Gotta go to the big city, Kok Kloy. Yeah.
The big smoke.
Yeah, I told you, I think the word Kok in Kok Kloy is spelled exactly like the word Coke on a bottle of Coke. It's the same 3 characters on a bottle of Coke. There's a tone difference. There's a tone over Coke, the drink. But the same, the vowel and the same 2 consonants are the same for Kok Kloy and Coca-Cola.
So it's Kok Kloy, not Kok Kloy.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Okay. Kok Kloy.
All right. What else do you have?
Well, that's. Let's go on.
Oh, all right. Sure.
You've typed it all out. Steve's been at the.
Well, no. Mostly, I
copied all night.
Copied and pasted people's comments into a Word doc. Because writing it, I worked on a keyboard 8 hours a day for many, many years. So my handwriting is illegible even to me. I cannot write with a stylus anymore.
Even when I couldn't write.
Keyboard.
I never got any elephant stamps for my handwriting.
Yeah. My mother used to teach penmanship, but not to me. I had said that I find it difficult to find top sheets in Thailand. And people chimed in to say both IKEA does not sell top sheets and you can buy top sheets at any IKEA. So the brain trust is split on this.
Yeah, IKEA top sheets. I don't think IKEA does top sheets. I've had no trouble getting them.
Well, you go to the biz. You go to the place that sells to the industry.
Also, like Lotus, I've bought top sheets, but the quality isn't great. But yeah, I mean, if you want top sheets, they are available here. They may be a little bit more scarce than
They're a lot more scarce.
yeah.
I want them. I've looked. I've searched high and low.
We always used to describe all that stuff like towels and sheets and pillows. We used to put it under the banner of Manchester. And so when I came here, I said, "Oh, where's your Manchester department?" Huh?
Yeah.
So it looks like it's a bit of an Australian thing. Do the people in Manchester call it Manchester?
Well,
Is it an English thing or?
one of our commenters said it's historically from Australia's early settler days. Cotton bedding came from Manchester, England, where it was produced in the mills there. So Manchester became a term for bedding towels, tea towels, tablecloths, etc.
Yes.
Soft goods, linens. Manchester, I think I never heard that until you used it.
Well, yeah, but that.
One of our commenters agrees with you on that.
Well, thank you very much for explaining that, because it's a word that I came here thinking, oh, well, the whole world calls it Manchester, but no.
No, not in Iowa.
Do they call it Manchester in England?
Because they do in Manchester.
That's where it came from. I don't know. Do you?
Where do you buy Manchester in Manchester?
Yes.
Now, let us know in the comments. This is not advice for a newbie, but it's something I just realized. Most of the places I like to eat don't use single-use plastic. They don't use cutlery. They don't give you a straw. They use china plates or plastic plates. The Khao Gang places, the Khao Man Gai, the Khao Mu Dang, all of those places have never used single-use plastic, and I think that's terrific. And I enjoy eating there now a little bit more because I realize that I'm being a responsible consumer. Now you have to trust that they wash all those cheap metal spoons that are in that basket. That you pick out a spoon and you pick out a set of plastic chopsticks. You trust that they wash that stuff, and B, the last guy who reached in there washed his hands after he used the rest.
Fossicking around for a fork.
Right? And oh no, that's not the shaped spoon I want this spoon. So you have to be a little bit trusting in that sense. But I've never encountered any real problematic intestinal distress, I think.
Never had
eating
any sickness from that. No. The only problem with them is those cheap spoons and forks are cheap spoons and forks, and there's not much metal in them. So if you get a piece of troublesome meat and you stick your fork in there, you're very likely to be bending the tines on the fork. They're very, they're not very solid.
I don't remember the last time I ate with a fork. I really. Yeah.
At the
Aquella a week ago. I had a pizza at the Aquella a week ago, and I ate it with a fork and a spoon. Yeah. So yeah, a week ago I ate with a fork. But yeah, on Thai food, you won't ever see a knife on a Thai table.
No,
it's all cut in the kitchen. It's all a stew.
Sure.
Everything is a stew here. It's a soup or a stew, and so you're eating with a spoon.
Yes, they don't use chopsticks here. A lot of people assume the Thai people use chopsticks. No.
Well, with noodles, with kway teow, they do. It's not, I think probably it was a lot more common in the old days. Now their spoons have taken over, yeah.
Well, fork and spoon? You're saying you don't use... I use my fork every single day.
Well, look around you.
Not stabbing people. I'm always using a fork. I never use a spoon to stab them.
Okay, yeah, well, you win this one. All right. I had said last week that I'm noticing a lot of young men riding around with motorcycles, and they got red and blue flashing lights now on their motorcycles. What's that about?
Oh, I videoed one of those the other day.
Did you?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So, not many people wrote in. I don't know if many people have seen this, but someone wrote in to say, the flashing lights on motorcycles is to make them more noticeable among a sea of lights on the road. It's for safety. No, dude. If these young men were concerned with safety, they'd be wearing a helmet.
Sure.
They wouldn't have 11 people on the motorcycle. They wouldn't be going 110 clicks. They'd be obeying all the laws. They'd be stopping at the red lights. These young men are not concerned with safety at all.
Well, I tell you what, the one I saw last week, I videoed it, and it's going to be impossible for me to find, I'm sure. Here we go. Here we go. This guy here, he had all the flashing lights. There we are.
Stick that, do an insert, stick that in there. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So
it's not safety. I don't know what it's about.
I think it is safety. I think
really
it is a. I think it's safety, but it's also, hey, look at me.
Yes.
So it's a safety that is there for reasons not necessarily of safety, but hey, look me over.
Yeah.
I think
and prestige.
Yeah.
All the Thai man cares about is ease and prestige. And I apologize to any Thai men watching, but that is my observation after 35 years. Ease and prestige. This is prestige. To be able to rig out your bike with something new and trendy and flashy.
We'd call pimping out the bike.
Pimp out the ride, yeah.
Of course, the flashing lights work, but the indicator lights don't.
No.
The headlight
No,
doesn't.
the headlight doesn't work. The indicator lights don't work. No. The muffler. We took off the muffler when we purchased the motorcycle. We took off the muffler.
Of course, we live on a racetrack here. Well, that's the way that the young Thais see it that go to the Ramkhamhaeng University every day. And some of them love the sound of their own muffler and or lack
of muffler. Yeah.
And boy, they
are
past here. This is the racetrack section.
The young men probably are going to the Wityalaya Cheap, the Voc Tech high school, the vocational technical high school, and they probably learned how to take off the muffler in motorcycle class on campus.
Lesson number 1.
Yeah. The young ladies in the black and white outfits, I think, are probably the 10 students at the Ramkhamhaeng Liberal Arts University.
So we have a tech school and a university.
Yeah, a very almost unused university. It turns out, they built it here because the land is free. It's a government land. So the government didn't have to buy the land. Somebody said, hey, let's put a liberal arts university down there on the beach. Wouldn't it be cool to sit in your poetry class and look out the window at the Andaman Sea? Yeah, kids don't want to go to school here. There's nowhere, first of all, there's no public transportation. To go to school here, you have to own a motorcycle. And as soon as you show up on campus on a motorcycle, 10 of your best friends are going to want to ride every single day. So if you don't own a motorcycle, you don't get educated here. And even if you do own a motorcycle, if you want to buy lunch or a bottle of water, you got to drive 1.5 miles back to town. So nobody wants to go to school here. It's an enormous campus with 3 buildings on it, and you never see any students. You see 1 or 2 students down there. But they will be wearing the black and white university uniform if you spot them.
When it comes to skills, there's one skill that young Thai women seem to acquire.
I know that. Yeah,
I know that time in their life, when they can sit side saddle on the back. Not sure what you were thinking.
I was thinking of. Yeah.
They sit side saddle on the back of one of those bikes, and they can, they might be sitting with their legs hanging out on the left-hand side. They're always hanging out on the left-hand side.
Non-muffler side.
On the non-muffler side. So you would think when they go around a left hand and the bike is leaning over, that there is something about the shape of their bottoms that grips onto that motor, or it sticks, or there's a sucker or something, because they never come off.
Well, I don't know. This requires further research. I'm going to have to look into this. They're everybody in this country, and I think it starts in infancy. You see how many kids riding around clinging like monkeys to mom. They are very, Asians have a lower center of gravity anyway. They have shorter legs in comparison
to their
torso. Yeah. So they have a lower center of gravity, even just walking or standing. But yeah, they're very agile, very adept at staying on these precarious rides, hanging off the back of a pickup truck, hanging off the end of a songtail. They manage to stay on when I would have already
Yeah.
hit the turf.
You tell me the last time you saw a young Asian student, a female student, come off a motorbike going around a left-hand turn. Doesn't happen.
No. And they get off that bike in front of school and they go like this, and they're perfectly coiffed and dressed. There's not a stain, not a wrinkle, not a hair out of place. Their makeup is perfection. Thai women are just gorgeous all the time. But yeah, getting off a motorcycle after a trip, and they're completely self-possessed and completely coiffed and completely dressed. It's amazing.
School uniform, they've changed the school uniform code. We reported this about a month ago, so that young Thai students can, well, the Thai boys, if they choose to, can wear a dress, and the Thai females can wear pants if they so choose.
Mm-hmm.
I think there could be a certain number of Thai women that might take up the opportunity to wear trousers, which is a very humorous term for pants. Pants, trousers, both sound quite funny. But I'm not sure whether there's been that many Thai boys who have taken up the option of wearing a dress.
No,
Yet.
I don't think so. Yes, the utility of trousers.
It's an inherently funny word.
Trousers? Yeah, okay. Saloons. Certainly getting on and off a motorcycle in pants and trousers is probably a lot easier than in a skirt. Sitting, astride or astraddle any kind of vehicle would be easier in pants. So yeah, I could see them wanting to. I think a young man wearing female garb would be for other reasons than utility.
Yes, would be attracting attention.
Would be attracting attention, would be expressing his or her true self. There would be a lot of other things going into that. A woman, there's no stigma. Women can wear, my mother used to garden in trousers all the time. Nobody in the neighborhood said, "Hey lady, why are you wearing men's clothes?" Women are much freer. Women are allowed to wear kind of whatever they want to in almost any society. So yeah, I also thought it was interesting. I saw a comment on one of those stories that they were relaxing the rules because some large families could not afford to constantly be buying new uniforms for all their kids. And they didn't want the kids to go to school in tattered or frayed uniforms, hand-me-down, second-hand, third-hand uniforms. And the whole purpose of uniforms in the schools is to democratize the population. So you cannot tell the poor kids from the wealthy kids by their dress.
Did you wear uniform?
No, and neither did my children. But when I was a kid, boy, in 1974, when I was a senior in high school, if you had said, yeah, we've got a new rule, you have to wear a uniform, I would have marched in the streets. I would have protested that. I would have said,
really?
Yes, when I was a teenager, because I was wearing a uniform without realizing it. I was dressed like I was the drummer in Led Zeppelin or Lynyrd Skynyrd. Long hair, octagonal John Lennon.
They really are the only two bands you know, aren't they?
Yes, they are. A Levi jacket, a flannel shirt. The way a 16-year-old kid dressed in Iowa was codified.
Right.
It was set in stone the way my peers and I dressed, but I was not aware of that. I thought I was expressing my individuality, and God forbid the man try to repress me or oppress me by making me wear a uniform to school.
I wore a uniform for 12 years.
And you're almost normal.
Almost.
This close.
Maybe I'm rebelling now, maybe.
Well, having had two kids now, I've raised two kids. Someone asked this morning in your show, how many kids does Steve have? I have two, and if you're really interested, you should read my books because my kids are mentioned in all my books. But having struggled to buy every year the appropriate Hello Kitty backpack so that my kids were not ashamed to go to school, so that people wouldn't know that their dad was a medical transcriptionist and couldn't afford to buy them nice clothes. I would have much preferred my kids gone to school in uniform. Now, 180 degrees. Who would have thought that my ideas and my values would have changed between 16 and 60?
Who would have thought?
Yeah, that didn't happen to you, did it?
So Thai kids uniformly have to wear uniforms. But they have recently changed the rule. It was misinterpreted to be, oh, you don't have to wear uniforms anymore. But what they've said is that on a case-by-case basis, that kids may not be required to wear uniforms and schools can make up their own decision. I would have thought if everybody else is wearing a uniform and one kid turns up in civilian clothing, they're sort of going to stand out.
There's that same stigma of your family's poor, which, I don't know.
You're one of those case by case.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you're one of them.
So I don't know that there's any perfect solution, except that kids, particularly in middle school and high school, are terribly susceptible to peer pressure. Kids at that age are psychologically moving already out of the house. Because if we didn't have this compulsion in the teenage years to move out of the house and start our own tribe, start our own family, we'd all live with our parents until we were 60 and the race would have died out. So as teenagers, when we become sexually active, we want to get out of the house. We want to be our own people. We want to be independent.
I'm still looking forward to that happening.
Yeah. So we rail against conformity at that age. But it is, I think, now at 66, I think that uniforms in school are not necessarily a bad thing.
We've got our uniforms. Where are they? Thank you very much to Leonardo. We've got our uniforms.
Yeah, I just can't be bothered to reach behind me, but thank you, Leonardo. I appreciate it very much. Would you like me to keep going?
Hey, keep going.
Yeah, all right. Someone said, last week we were at the Aquila and we had parked our car in a forbidden zone, and they were gesturing at us while we were doing this.
Show, yes.
Yeah. And someone said, why not just give him the keys and tell him to move the car? That's one of the things I love about Thailand. I had not thought about it in the moment, but we had spoken before about this thing where if there's no parking, you park behind someone and you leave the emergency brake off and you leave it in neutral.
Just push
so they can push you out of the way.
Sure.
Well, if we're doing that, why not give the caddy at Aquila?
Well, my key was in the car. They could have just got in the car.
Was it?
And
sure. We could have told them then. The key is in the car. Never occurred to me. Coming from the United States, the idea of telling, even though these were employees at the place we were eating lunch, they were going to steal the car, right?
They were looking at us. They weren't gesturing or anything. They were just looking.
I thought they did this.
Oh, they did at one stage.
Yeah.
But I think that's after I sort of went, huh?
Yeah.
And then they did that.
But that was an interesting thing. Thank you to that correspondent. That had not occurred to me, but I can't think of an argument against it. I think, that would have been a solution. But we were ready to finish anyway. It was the end of the show anyway, so we got up. But I think bravo to the Brain Trust. I like that suggestion. And we had talked last week about...
By the way, we were gestured to park in the place we parked. So it's not as if we'd done anything naughty.
Defend yourself at this point.
Well,
the security guard told us, go ahead, park there.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we asked and he said, well, am I going to tell these white people they can't park here? No, go ahead. Yeah. We spoke about something. I had said that I no longer see soda pop, carbonated beverages
in plastic
sold
bags.
In plastic bags. And we had talked about it last week. One late correspondent said that some shops don't want to pay for the electricity to keep 100 bottles of Coca-Cola cold 24/7. So they will have an ice machine that takes less electricity, and then to make it cold right away, you would mix it in a bag. You can't put the ice cubes in a bottle of pop.
Right.
So you would pour the pop out into a bag and add ice, and there you go. It seems reasonable. To be sure, we'd have to know how much electricity goes into running an ice maker compared to how much goes into running a big console, a cooler full of soda pop.
I would have thought it was much different.
Yeah, I don't know, but that was one thing we had not discussed last week.
I also noticed that
come up with that.
The cans of what Americans call soda, or we call them sort of lemonade.
It's West, it's soda. In Iowa.
The cans are just generally smaller cans than we used to get back in Australia.
Well, that is a current culture war going on in the United States because companies have realized with the times and inflation, you would have to raise the price of your product unless you sold your product in slightly smaller servings and portions.
Right.
So bars of soap are getting smaller, cans of soda pop, cans of beer, etc., etc.
The price is the same.
The price stays the same.
Right.
So they're hoping that the consumer does not notice.
We noticed.
Yeah, we noticed. Yeah, he noticed. He noticed. We went through the most popular names in the West right now. It was the U.S. or the West or the U.K.?
The U.S.
All right, in the U.S. Someone pointed out that the first most popular name was Liam, and the 10th was William. And Roy Stevenson pointed out Liam is just William.
Is it? I
didn't know that.
I think they're two different names. I've never known a William called Liam. They always get Bill. I think Liam is a different name than William. Look, obviously.
Brain trust? All the Liams and all the Williams out there jump in. Liam is the last 4 letters in the name William, but that doesn't make it necessarily that it is the same name. I think if you consider John and Ian or Ewan to be, or Johann or Juan, they're all John, right? Maybe Liam is the Latin root of William or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm
not sure Liam is a nickname for someone on whose birth certificate it says William.
That
I think is a stretch. But do they have the same root in archaic speech? Perhaps so. He loves bringing surprise guests into the show. If it's not Captain, it's Daisy.
Well, she's probably the most intelligent. Oh, don't show your nether bits. That's Daisy. Say hello, Daisy. Okay, good, great.
When I take my hiatus, that's who you're going to get. That's who's going to be sitting for 2 months in this chair right here. It's going to be Grumpy Old Man and his dog.
Much more interesting.
Probably a faster typist. Okay, Liam William. Oh, one of the things somebody had said, I had said that I don't see any more soda in plastic bags. And someone said, and I am seeing these flashing lights. And someone else said, what I'm seeing is fabric hung off the doors of delivery vehicles.
That was me.
Was that you?
That was me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it shows how much I pay attention. Now, someone wrote in, Andrew Hill wrote in to say, the rags are for good luck. I don't know how that works. Maybe like the fabric tied around body trees. You ever see the sacred trees that get fabric? Fronts of boats, things like that. Oh, spirit houses. We put fabric around your spirit house.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he's talking about. Someone else said the fabric is to clean the door. And you see it sometime on the mirror, and they let the wind clean the mirror. The wind blowing around a strip of fabric, clean the mirror or clean the door? Yeah, really?
Okay. I don't know. I think there's something else going on there, but certainly in the delivery vehicles, I think it's just literally decoration. I don't think there's it's just a trend.
I think just the opposite. It's to pull the doors open.
Okay.
So you don't have to climb up and reach up and pull the handle to open the door.
I'm going to take some photos and show you.
Because ties have very low centers of gravity and they're very close to the ground.
Should keep on.
We did cotton bedding became Manchester.
Yes.
Oh, the first movie, the first commercially produced movie to be filmed in natural color is A Visit to the Seaside. Was shot in 1908 on the kinemacolor process.
This is I read up about this.
Okay.
This is a type of color process that has 2 colors,
red and green.
And it wasn't very convincing. It was like very, very badly colorized black and white film.
Well, isn't that what we do in a 3D movie now? We have a red filter and a green filter.
But that's for the for the polarizing.
Right. But the image you see is more than just red and green, right? The image you see is a variety of colors.
Yes.
So maybe it was the same way.
Yes.
But the first full-length
color.
First full-length feature film was called The World, the Flesh, and the Devil, and it was the same thing. It was the red and green, and that was in the 30s. The 30s at some point.
Yes.
So we were corrected, and thank you for that. And
The Wizard of Oz came out in
39.
not 32, as I suggested.
that I didn't write it down. I had said that Victor Fleming, who directed both Gone with the Wind and The Wizard of Oz in the same year, had directed Wings, the first movie to ever win an Academy Award, and he had 300 aircraft in the air at one time. It was pointed out William Wenders won the Academy Award for Wings, and as far as I could tell, Victor Fleming did not direct any. He directed some air battles in movies, but nothing with 300 planes in the air. I don't know where I got that from, but Steve got that wrong. Victor Fleming, he did slap Judy Garland on the set of Wizard of Oz.
Remember that?
Yes. But no, he did not have 300 planes in the air. So Steve got it wrong.
Name a song out of The Wizard of Oz.
Off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Somewhere over the rainbow.
Best remembered song out of The Wizard of
Nobody
Oz.
can sing that. Nobody can sing the national anthem of the United States well, but everybody can sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
I'm sorry to say, but when it comes to national anthems,
Our songs.
the one in the United States is not one of the better ones.
It's a
The
terrible
one in Thailand, that's a good old rollicking song.
Yes.
Don't know the words.
Okay. Rot rhymes with rot. Rhyme. It was a new thing back then.
I've gone through, in my home country, 2 national anthems.
Oh.
We started off when I was young. The flag would go up in the morning at 8 o'clock and we'd be singing God Save the Queen.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But then I think it was 1972, I'm sure I'll be corrected on that if I got it wrong, we changed over to Advance Australia Fair. And we were girt by sea. We all got to learn what the word girt means.
Not girded, we are girt.
Girt by sea.
Girty. Well, that's, God Save the Queen. That is the tune of the Star Spangled Banner, isn't it?
Da, 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 da. Yes.
Liberty of the I sing, God Save the Queen. We couldn't even come up with our own tune. Francis Scott Key did the United States a terrible disservice, and I'll never forgive him for that.
That's for the Star Spangled
Banner. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Strange words.
Yeah. Oh, it's terribly tortured. The syntax and everything to try to make it fit the meter of the song. He's tortured the English language. What's it do? It celebrates enduring a battle, not democracy. It doesn't celebrate democracy. It doesn't. Oh, and it's got verses about slavery, promoting slavery that we never sing. We conveniently don't sing the verses about. It's not just promoting slavery. We know what to do with runaway slaves, meaning we hang them from trees. I mean, it's a terrible, terrible, terrible song, and we have to sing it before every baseball game.
We were and usually they get a celebrity that cannot sing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We also are very lucky that the Australian national anthem can be sung to the tune of the theme of Gilligan's Island, which makes it quite easy to remember. Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free. It works perfectly.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's supposed to be a 3-hour tour. We've been here 200 years.
Yes.
Go figure. I have one just little personal observation, and then
see us out as well.
One question for the Brain Trust: is the gem scam still a thing?
Oh yes.
Is it?
Oh yes. There are still some taxi drivers that will offer newbies, whether they've asked them or not. They'll drop in at a gem store, and there are still some gem stores in Phuket, for example, where they'll take them. There's a very, 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 very big one right on the corner of the Heroines Monument. That huge building is a gem store.
Okay.
And so the taxi drivers will drag newbies there. Say, oh, you must just drop in here on the way to your hotel after your 17-hour flight.
Well, that I understand, and the taxis get a bump for that. The taxis get a commission, whether or not you buy anything. So if you're not in a big hurry and you like your taxi driver, do him a mitzvah, let him take you to one of those places. But the gem scam I was thinking of happens on the streets, particularly in Bangkok, where a well-dressed young Thai person speaking good English will say, are you aware that today only the Thai government is allowing Thai college students to buy gems at massively reduced prices?
Oh, I've never heard
so
of
they
that.
can, yes,
Never
so
heard.
that they can sell them, and it's one day only. And I am a college student. You see, I wear the uniform, and if you go with me, you can get rubies really, really cheap just for one day, just today.
I'd go with it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, and that used to be a thing. I don't know. I don't go to Bangkok for one thing, but I don't speak to people on the street, and I speak Thai to anybody, whether they speak English to me or not. So nobody tries to scam me like that, because Farang Rumak Mai Di, a Farang who knows a lot is no good, and they will, anybody who's trying to scam you, you speak a couple words of Thai, they turn around and they walk away. They walk away. They just walk away.
I remember I dropped into the gem store in next to Heroin's Morning. It's a huge building. They built it. It's palatial. There's
a lot of money in gem.
a prime block of land, and they built this huge. I don't know if it's been reopened after COVID. Last time I was in Phuket, it was still closed. But I thought one day, being a local, I'll drop in there and see what they're doing in there. It could be a shopping centre, could be a brothel for all I knew. I had no idea what the place was. So I drove up in the car and they said, would you like us to park your car? I said, thank you very much, here's the key. Went in there and they said, are you coming to buy gems? I said, oh, no, I just came out to have a look around. And they showed me the exit.
No looky-loos. No.
So,
Mighty.
So Chinese tourists, no problem.
Yeah,
But Australians,
bring me a busload. Yeah.
off you go.
And you drive, we've got one of these shell places here in Pangat that you pass on your way to the bridge, to the Saracen Bridge.
Yes.
On the left. And it's ginormous. It's 3 floors. And it's got shells from all over the world. And you drive past it, there's never any cars there. And you think, how can this thing survive? It's because it's set up for the big buses with 90 people. Yeah. You don't see anybody there because they don't want individuals, single shoppers coming in.
I went
They're
in
waiting
there
for the bus.
as a single shopper, thinking I just need a few shells for my guest houses. So you go and find, like what do you call them? The ones with the circles? Nautilus shell. Thought, it's like 30,000 baht.
Yeah.
I'll get a plastic one, I think.
Yeah, there's good money in that. And you go in there and there'll be some well-dressed young man speaking English who is the host, who is the boss of the place. All right, so right off the bat that he's somebody's nephew. He works there because he's related to the owner, because that's what a cushy job. You hardly have anybody in there, and when you do have people, you're just selling them stuff, and you let the women do that anyway. And he's college educated because he's speaking good English. But at the same time, the poor guy took a degree probably in theater or something like that he can't get a job, and the family's got to set him up. They got to give him a job in the family shell store. So, yeah, don't judge.
What have you got your next beach combing video coming out? When's the next
On the 1st. It'll be on the 1st of every month for 6 months.
Okay.
For 6 months. Yeah, the channel. Thank you for that.
Where are you off to next with your beach combing?
Here. No, it's always going to be here.
Always going to be here.
We're going to follow this beach through the rainy season, for 6 months of the rainy season.
Okay.
As right now, the trash is about ankle high. By July, it'll be knee high. And so I go out there and I about every 3rd or 4th day, I'll film something out on the beach. And then I show in the studio what I do with the trash. The current turtle. I've got it down. It takes me about 4 weeks now to finish a turtle. And so yeah, I chronicled this month's turtle. So you can see the trash as I pick it up on the beach. This about a week ago, I found the remains of a turtle. I've got a nearly complete turtle skeleton in my house that I'm soaking in hydrogen peroxide to make it white. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But the skull I've already got out on a bookcase. But all the rest of it, all the bones are there in the backyard in a big plastic tub full of hydrogen peroxide. And so I filmed myself digging this up out of the sand and carrying it on my back on the bicycle, bringing it home.
What's the name of the channel, Steve?
Beach combing on Turtle Beach, Thailand. And there's one video there. There will be one every month on the 1st of the month. And thank you.
And with that...
No, that's right. I'll save this for later. That's fine.
Okay. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. I don't want to promote your channel at the moment because you're not populating it.
Well, only for beachcombers. Anybody in Thailand who wants more of Steve Ross than this can go find it. Or go look at, there's 2 years, there's more than 100 videos on my original channel,
And
Steve Ross.
some books.
And some books, and go read that. Go watch that, go read the books, whatever. But the beachcombing thing is for the international beachcombing community, which is orders of magnitude larger than the Thai-themed community. So I want to see what happens when Steve goes out into that world.
Right. And with that, we thank you for watching. We weren't too grumpy today. Probably grumpy about these bites that I'm getting a lot of from those nasty little fire ants. That's why I've got a soy dog, because she's going to sort them out.
She's going to bring ticks and fleas into the house.
Oh, we've sorted that out yesterday. Thank you for reminding me.
Time for a pill.
A very expensive injection. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you, Tim.
And we'll see you as well. Thanks for dropping in.
Bye.